Welcome back to the Whisper Knows. This is the place where stories don't scream, they whisper. Tonight's question is simple, and once you hear it, you won't be able to unhear it. What if it's true that the babysitter was never human? At 3:07 a.m., a house becomes a museum of breathing. Fridge hum, pipes ticking, floorboards settling like tired bones. If you've ever trusted a stranger with your kids, you know what creeps in at this hour. Not fear, something worse. The thought you missed something obvious and it's already inside. My name is Evan. My wife Mara works night shifts at the hospital. Our daughter Lily is 6, old enough to notice when adults pretend. Our son Ben is 14 months, still at that age where silence can mean sleep or disaster. We needed overnight help, the kind you only accept when exhaustion makes you reckless. That's how June arrived. A friend of a friend. Her photo looked harmless, soft smile, plain gray sweater. In person, June felt exact. Not warm, not cold, precise, like a tool built for one job. I understand you need someone from 7 until morning, she said. No question mark, just a label read aloud. Mara asked about CPR, references, experience. June answered with neat certainty, dates, towns, the ages of children she'd watched, like she'd filed them. Then Lily appeared at the top of the stairs, barefoot, clutching her stuffed rabbit. June looked up. "Hello, Lily." Mara blinked. We didn't say her name. June's smile barely moved. Children announced themselves. Lily stepped back, not shy, alert, like an animal sensing something it couldn't name. That should have been my warning, but bills are loud, and June didn't hesitate when we said overnights. Before leaving, she glanced at the baby gate and the window latch and told Mara softly, "He doesn't like the dark." Mara frowned. "He's a baby." "Still," June replied. Night 1 came fast. June arrived at 7:59. She didn't knock. She simply stood on the porch with her hands folded, as if she'd been waiting for the house to notice her. We explained bottles, bedtime routines, emergency numbers. June didn't write anything down. Then she stepped into our hallway and stared at the mirror, not fixing her hair, not checking her face, studying her reflection like she was confirming it matched the room. "Everything is in order," she said. Mara left for the hospital. I stayed up in my office, forcing myself to work. Around 11:40, soft footsteps. Lily stood outside my door, eyes wet. "She's in Ben's room," Lily whispered. "That's her job," I said too fast. Lily shook her head. "No, she's talking to Ben." Lily's voice dropped. "To the corner." I laughed, because parents laugh when they're scared. I tucked Lily in, promised her it was fine, and told myself I'd stop being ridiculous. Then I checked the baby monitor. Ben's room was dim, lit by a star nightlight. June sat in the rocking chair, Ben in her arms. She was whispering, not lullabies, not baby talk, smooth syllables I didn't recognize, steady as a memorized prayer. Ben's eyes were open, unblinking, fixed on the corner Lily mentioned. Then June turned and looked into the camera. She smiled as if she could see me. The monitor crackled. The audio warped for a heartbeat, like something wet dragged across a microphone, then fell silent. Ben's eyes closed. June's smile faded, and only then did I notice the rocking chair wasn't moving. Yet June kept rocking, perfectly still, like motion was optional. Morning came. Lily barely ate. "I stayed awake," she said. "Why?" "Because she told me if I closed my eyes, she'd borrow them." June walked in behind us, calm as ever. Ben giggled at her like she was sunlight. June murmured without looking at me, "He dreams in the wrong direction." That afternoon, I called June's references. Every number worked, every voice sounded different, but every single person said the same sentence in the same rhythm, like they were reading from a script. I didn't tell Mara. I said June was great because saying the truth out loud felt like opening a door you can't close. After we hung up, I went back to Ben's room and stared at that corner until my eyes watered. Nothing moved, nothing changed, but the air felt interested, and I understood with a chill that didn't belong to winter. June hadn't been recommended. June had been placed. I promised myself I wouldn't panic. I'd watch, quietly, carefully. June arrived at 6:55 again. Gray sweater, folded hands. No phone, no purse, no keys. "You're early," I said. "I'm on time," she corrected. Mara left for the hospital. The door shut. The house exhaled. June watched Mara's car disappear through the window and smiled, small and private, like she'd been waiting to be alone. At 8:30, I heard Lily laughing upstairs, sharp and breathless, like she was hearing something funny through a wall. I climbed the stairs and stopped outside Lily's room. The door was cracked open. Inside, Lily sat cross-legged on the floor. June sat across from her. Between them was Lily's stuffed rabbit, sitting upright. Neither of them touched it. "Again," Lily clapped. "Only if you do it correctly," June said. I pushed the door wider. "What are you doing?" They both looked at me, not startled, just interrupted. "A listening game," June said. "What kind of listening game?" "The house speaks," June replied. "Lily is learning to hear it." Lily nodded eagerly. "It whispers." June lifted a finger to her lips. Lily froze instantly, obedient as a switch. Then June whispered in that smooth, even language, syllables too clean, too patterned. Lily's eyes drifted upward, and the rabbit toppled sideways. Not like it fell, like something nudged it. June smiled. "Good. He's listening too." "Who is he?" I asked. June's eyes slid to Lily's closet door. Lily followed the glance and spoke in a voice that wasn't quite hers. "He's been in there since before you bought the house." My stomach dropped. June didn't correct her. She looked pleased. I closed the door harder than I meant to. Lily flinched, only at me, not at June. Later, I checked the baby monitor. Ben's room was dim. June stood at the corner. Ben lay awake, silent, eyes fixed like he was watching something I couldn't see. June raised her hand, palm outward, like greeting someone tall. "You may look, but you may not take," she said softly. The monitor hissed. A pause. Ben giggled, sweet and wrong. June touched Ben's forehead with 2 fingers. His stare snapped deeper into the corner, as if she'd been tuned to a different frequency. At 10:12, Lily came downstairs without her rabbit.
She stared at me like I didn't belong. "I'm special," she whispered, lifting her sleeve. On her inner forearm was a faint red imprint, a circle with 3 short lines branching from it, like a tiny sun or an eye. "What is that?" "It's a door to where she's from," Lily said. Then her smile thinned. "She says the house already has something inside it, and it's hungry." I waited until June stepped away. Then I opened Ben's room. The air was freezer cold. Ben stared at the corner. I stepped closer and heard it, very soft. A wet inhale, like breathing through fabric. Near the baseboard, tiny marks repeated in a cluster, the same symbol. Doors. The paint around them looked slightly puckered, like skin healing. I backed away, and the corner seemed to darken, not by shadow, but by attention. From the hallway, June's footsteps stopped, not outside the door, halfway down the hall, as if she'd known exactly where I was without seeing me. Footsteps behind me. June appeared in the doorway, calm as ever. "You shouldn't stand there," she said. "Why not?" "Because it learns you." I swallowed. "June, what are you?" She blinked slowly, smiled smoothly. "Helpful. I'm here to keep what's in this house from choosing them," she added, eyes cutting towards Ben. Then she looked at me. "But you," she said quietly, "were never part of the agreement." Downstairs, the baby monitor crackled, and a voice came through, not Ben's. Older, patient, close to the mic. It whispered one word, perfectly clear: trade.
The word trade clung to the air long after the monitor went quiet. It didn't sound angry or rushed. It sounded certain, like a cashier naming a total. I shut Ben's door and walked past June without speaking. If I said the wrong thing, I felt like the house itself might treat it as consent. June followed me downstairs. "You heard it," she said. "I heard something," I snapped. She stopped in the living room and stared toward the hallway mirror, not at herself, but through it. "It is awake." "What is it?" "A resident," June replied, "not the kind your deed mentions." The lights flickered once. The air thickened as if the house leaned closer to listen. June lifted her hand, palm down, and the flicker stopped. "Stop whatever you're doing to my kids." Her calm sharpened. "I'm not doing anything to them. I'm keeping something from doing something with them." The mark on Lily's arm. A seal. A refusal. A refusal? "Children are easy to claim," June replied. "They don't know what to say no to. Lily does now." "You taught her." "I reminded her," June corrected. "She hears more than you. That makes her noticeable." Upstairs, a floorboard creaked, slow and heavy, like someone shifting their weight in Ben's room. But Ben was in his crib, and June was here. I moved toward the stairs. "Do not go up there alone," June said. "Get out of my house." "If I leave," she said, "it will ask again, louder." The baby monitor on the coffee table crackled. A low hiss, a wet drag. Then the older voice returned, close enough to taste. "Trade." I grabbed the monitor. "Trade what?" Silence. Then, softly, "One." June didn't blink. "It wants a person," she said. "A presence, something that can move." "No, this isn't insane." "It isn't," June replied. "It was here first. It expects rent." "So you're here to negotiate?" June's mouth curved by a fraction.
I'm here because someone already negotiated once. Who? Her eyes drifted to the hallway wall where I'd seen those tiny symbols near the baseboard. Previous owners, she said, a tired couple, a sick child, a night like this. My throat tightened. What did they trade? June paused, like she was listening to something behind the die wall. Time, she said at last. Years they didn't deserve. In return, they left a door. My mind snapped to the marks, the doors on the wall, the symbol on Lily's arm. You mean the house is like a mouth, June finished, and it learns what to bite. Upstairs, Ben began to cry, thin, strained, wrong, like his breath was being pulled through a straw. I lunged for the stairs. June caught my wrist, cold fingers too firm. If you go up there angry, it will taste that. If you go up there afraid, it will taste that too. I ripped free. Then what do I do? You speak like it does, June said, short, certain. The baby monitor crackled again. Ben's crying cut off mid-breath. Silence, heavy, staged. Then Lily screamed. I sprinted. Lily's door was open. She stood in the hallway, shaking, pointing at Ben's room. She's in there, Lily sobbed. June is in there. I'm right here, June called from downstairs. Lily shook her head hard. Not her, the other one, the one that wears her. I threw Ben's door open. The room was darker than it should have been, as if the nightlight had given up. Ben stood in his crib, too straight, too still, hands clamped on the rail. His eyes weren't on me, they were locked on the corner. Then Ben's mouth opened, and the older voice came out of him, clean, adult, patient. Choose. My blood turned to ice. Behind me, June's voice floated from the hallway, soft as a lullaby. It is offering you kindness, she said. It will take one, so it doesn't take two. I turned and caught the hallway mirror in the edge of my vision. June stood in the doorway, but her reflection didn't match her posture. The reflection's head was tilted at the wrong angle, smiling wider than June's face could allow. June didn't look at the mirror. She looked at me and whispered, "You have until dawn."
Ben's lips stayed parted, like the word choose had unhinged something that wouldn't click back into place. His eyes stayed locked on the corner. Lily clung to my shirt, trembling. "Daddy," she whispered, "don't let it pick me." June stood in the doorway, calm as gravity. "Dawn," she reminded me, "that is the boundary." I kept my voice short and certain. "What happens at dawn?" "If you do not answer," June said, "it will, and it will not be gentle." Ben's fingers tightened on the crib rail. The wood creaked. I stepped between him and the corner. "Help me." June nodded and finally reached into her pocket. She produced a thin square of folded paper. Symbols covered it, the same door mark on Lily's arm, arranged in a ring. "A refusal," she said, "stronger than yours." "What does it cost?" I asked. "It will try to take what you love while you speak it." The nightlight dimmed. The corner stopped looking like shadow and started looking like depth, like an open mouth waiting for a name. June lifted the paper toward it. "When I say a word, you repeat it. Do not add anything. Do not plead." Lily swallowed. "I can say it too." June's eyes flicked to Lily's sealed forearm. "You can, but it will notice you." Lily nodded anyway.
June spoke the first word, smooth, even, wrong. I repeated it. Lily repeated it. The air tightened. The baby monitor crackled. A wet breath pushed through the speaker. From the corner, something answered. Trade. Ben's head turned toward me too smoothly. His mouth opened, and the older voice slid out of him, patient as rot. 1. June didn't look at Ben. She stared at the corner. Again, she said. She spoke the second word. I repeated it. Lily's voice shook but stayed clear. The house groaned in its walls. The symbol ring on June's paper darkened one mark at a time, as if ink was filling from the inside. Ben's fingers fluttered. For a heartbeat, he looked like a baby again, confused, reaching. Then his gaze snapped back to the corner, and his lips stretched into a smile that didn't know love, only appetite. Third, June said. She spoke. We repeated. The corner shuddered. The darkness wrinkled, folding inward. Cold air rushed across my knuckles, like something pulling away at the last second. Ben gasped, a true breath, then he screamed, loud, raw, human. Lily sobbed, still whispering the last word, as if stopping would invite it back. June snapped the paper shut in her fist. The nightlight brightened. The room became just a room again. Silence followed, thick and stunned. It will sleep, June said, for a while. And then, I asked, my voice barely working. June's gaze drifted to the baseboard where the door marks hid under paint. It learned your voices tonight, she whispered. It learned your refusal. That's good, I said desperately. June's smile was small. It is information. I gathered Ben into my arms. Lily wrapped herself around my waist, rabbit pressed to her chest like a charm. In the hallway mirror, June's reflection lagged a half-second behind her, smiling. It lifted 2 fingers to its lips, like a private joke with the house. June met my eyes. Dawn is here, she said. So is your debt. Debt? I asked. You used a refusal, she replied. Refusals don't erase hunger, they redirect it. She stepped backward into the hallway shadows. Lock your doors if it helps you sleep, she said gently. It doesn't open doors, it opens people. Then she was gone, down the stairs, into the night, swallowed as if she'd never been here. When Mara came home, every light was on. Ben slept on my chest. Lily wouldn't let go of her rabbit. We fired the babysitter, I told her. I didn't tell her the truth. Because under the paint, the doors were still there. And in the silence between the house's breaths, I could swear I heard it rehearsing, faint and patient. Trade.
This has been The Whisper Knows, and if your babysitter ever learns your child's name before you say it, listen closely. Some things aren't hired to watch your kids. They're hired to learn which voice will say yes. Good night. Subscribe if you dare to listen.